So the wonderful thing about having a team is you have people to stand in for you. And last week we had Leslie McCormick, who stood in for Darren Farwell. And we learned about a structured note, Darren. I'm sure you know about them as well. But what are you going to talk about today?
Well, today, Marilyn, I have a happy story that highlights that old adage we refer to quite often during the show, that you don't know what you don't know. And as often the case, our happy story starts with a challenge to overcome. Business owners in Canada are under attack. Now, it's always been hard to make money owning, running, and growing your own business. But in Canada, in Ontario, it's about to get harder. Unlike policies south of the border, the government here is moving to increase taxation on business owners. Proposed legislation indicates the government is going to tax investment income in corporations that exceeds $50,000 a year in investment income at a much higher rate. And there are more punitive changes being proposed. So with all of these proposals, no matter what the final results are, business owners that bury their head in the sand and don't review what the changes are and how they might impact them personally, both themselves personally and their corporation over the long term, are at risk of missing out on strategies that could save them some money. Business owners that do consult with their professional advisors like their wealth manager or their accountants may be able to find strategies that eliminate or at least mitigate the problem of the new tax regulations. There will be winners and losers. Today's happy story is about a strategy a business owner is implementing to deal with the coming tax changes. Now, before we talk about Tom's specific story, I would like to add another reason why it's going to be harder for business owners to make money in the coming years. I'm not sure who noticed the markets were down pretty big yesterday, Friday.
Oh, they're falling.
Yeah, they've been falling for the last week. In the United States, S&P 500, it was the biggest single-day point drop, not percentage-wise, but in points, since 2008. Now, I don't really want anyone to get too panicked. That's really only a 2% decline. And the U.S. market was up over 5% in January. So some perspective is important here. But there's a few signs that things are changing in the investment world. It doesn't look like an economic recession is imminent, and that's what we always want to watch for. But this market correction is an indication that there's a shift going on fundamentally in what's happening in the market, and we need to be aware of what's going on there. The easy money that investors have made over the last number of years in passive growth investments probably is not going to be available going forward. So, with the market changing, if you ignore those changes, you could end up giving back much of the gains that you've made. The winners in this will be those who review the strategies and investments for what is coming. So let's get to our story.
Yes, please, because the rest of it's scary and sad.
Well, no, remember I said that while the market was down Friday, and that's always scary to see that happen,
yes,
we really don't see signs of a recession.
Oh, okay. So it's a good, that's a happy story of itself.
That's happy that way. Tom is a business owner with a holding company that has significant retained earnings. He heard from his accountant that me and my team provide integrated personal and corporate tax, estate, and investment planning, and we take a holistic wealth management approach. So Tom came to see me because he was looking for strategies to prepare for the upcoming tax changes and reduce the risk of his portfolio. Tom and I spent time reviewing what's important to him, his business, his family. By the way, his family, which includes his parents, his wife, her parents, his kids, and his brother's kids. So when Tom says me, he means the greater me. We then created a clear written long-term plan that integrated his personal and corporate assets. From Tom's list of objectives, it was clear he wanted to leave a sizable legacy. And with our tax analysis, which we did hand in hand with his accountant, it was clear that Tom should consider buying life insurance. But, importantly, he should be using the savings in his holding company to buy the life insurance. Tom didn't know that you could buy personal insurance using the money in his holdco. And that's particularly important because when you use the money in your holding company, you get to use money that's only been taxed at 15 to 20%. So you can use money where you've been keeping 80 cents on the dollar instead, if you take it personally, 46 cents on the dollar. All around, it costs him 73% less to use corporate retained earnings to buy his life insurance than doing it personally. Furthermore, the growth in his policy circumvents the new proposed higher tax rules. So there's two big wins for Tom using money in his holding company to buy his life insurance, which he wants based on his own long-term objectives. It costs a lot less, and he pays a lot less tax.
Wow, I'm impressed. You've made my jaw drop once again.
Well,
for those people who are watching us streaming, I'm going to go...
But on top of that, one of the real other advantages for Tom is the internal rate of return on the death benefit is 100% guaranteed. So he's actually reallocating savings that were in the stock market, i.e. a little riskier, to much less risky. In other words, he's reduced his overall portfolio risk. So Tom actually called me yesterday afternoon and said he was happy that he'd got that done before Friday. I said, yeah, true, Tom, but at the same time, I'm not suggesting that what happened on Friday is about to be a long-term trend. But of course, he was happy about buying the insurance in his holdco, and really his call was a reflection of that.
Well, I wrote down the statistics, saving 73%. It sounds like a fire sale. It's wonderful. I love bargains, and my stores in the fashion district, we've always went on value pricing, so to speak. So you're offering wonderful ideas, and people are sitting at home probably thinking, I wonder if this applies to me. If somebody wants to discuss their personal situation and find out about integrating their business plan and their personal plan, are you going to work today?
I am going to work this morning, Maren. There's lots to do this time of year.
So if someone calls that magic number, 416-863-7501, they'll reach you?
Yes, and if anyone would like to come downtown and meet with me, of course, we always pay for the parking in Scotia Plaza, and we make, okay coffee.
And you do travel?
Yes.
If someone wants to organize something closer to home, all they really have to do is call Darren and get started. So 416-863-7501. I'll say what you always say. You don't know what you don't know, Darren. And saving 73%, wow, in financial investments and putting your money to work and avoiding taxes legally all sound wonderful. So happy story, yes, for sure. Congratulations, Tom, for dealing with Darren. And I look forward to learning more from you next week, Darren. Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome. Have a great weekend, Marilyn.
You too.
Enjoy the Super Bowl.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I'll let you enjoy the Super Bowl.